Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel UI Ninjas. So in this video we will discuss about loops. So what is loops? Looping in programming languages is a feature that facilitates the execution of a set of instructions functions rapidly while some condition evaluates to true. For example, suppose we want to print UI Ninjas 5 times. This can be done in two ways as shown below. First is iterative method. The iterative method to do this is to write the console.log statement 5 times like this. And next method is using loops. In loop the statement needs to be written only once and the loop will be executed 5 times as shown below. So there are many different kind of loops, but they are essentially do the same thing. They repeat an action some number of lines. Note that it's possible that number could be 0. The various loop mechanisms offer different ways to determine the start and end point of the loop. There are various situations that are more easily served by one type of loop over the other. So first is for loop. The for loop repeats until a specified condition evaluates to false. The JavaScript for loop is similar to the Java and C for loop. The JavaScript for loop iterates the elements for the fixed number of times. It should be used if number of iteration is known. The for loop statement creates a loop with three optional expressions. The following illustrate the syntax of the for loop statement. First we use for. In the braces we use initializer, condition, then iterator. In the block we use different statements. So for what is initializer? The for statement executes the initializer only once the loop starts. Typically you declare and initialize a local loop variable in the initializer. So next is condition. The condition is a boolean expression that determines whether the for should execute the next iteration. So next is iterator. The for statement executes the iterator after each iteration. The for statement evaluates the condition before each iteration. If the condition is true or is not present, it executes the next iteration. Otherwise, it will end the loop. So next is example of for loop. The following example uses the for loop statement to show numbers from 1 to 4 to the console. So we use for loop like this. So first we use for. In the braces we use let I equals to 1, that is initializer, and next we add condition I less than 5, that is condition, and semicolon, then this is iterator. It means increment statement or decrement statement. Here we use increment statement. In the block we use console.log and print the value of I. So the output is 1 2 3 4. So how it works? First declare a variable counter and initializer it to 1. Second, display the value of counter in the console if counter is less than 5. Third, increase the value of counter by 1 in each iteration of the loop. So we take one example practically. Open the Sublime text editor and start code. Here we use for loop like this, and first we initialize the value I equals to 1, then semicolon. Next we add condition I less than 5, semicolon, then iterator. It means increment value. In the block we use console statement, console dot log check the value of I. Save this code and see the result on the browser window. Right click, then inspect, then check console. The output is 1 2 3 4 because I initialize the value from 1 and less than 5. Condition is I less than 5, so it iterates 1 2 3 4 5. So next is while loop. The JavaScript while loop iterates the element for the infinite number of times it should be used if the number of iteration is not known. The following illustrate the syntax of the while statement. First while, then condition. In the block we use different statements. If the condition becomes false, statement within the loop stops executing and control passes to the statement following the loop. The condition test occurs before statement in the loop is executed. If the condition returns true, statement is executed and the condition is tested again. If the condition returns false, execution stops and control is passed to the statement following while. To execute multiple statement, use a block statement to the group those statement in the braces. So here is an example of while loop. The following example uses the while statement to output the odd numbers between 1 to 10 to the console. So first, here we take one variable count, initialize the value is 1, then while statement. In between that we use condition count less than 10 and check the console value to count, and next we increment the value to 2. So output is 1 3 5 7 9. This is the odd numbers between 1 to 1 and 10. So how it works? First declare a variable counter and initialize it to a 1. Second, execute the statement inside the loop. If the count variable is less than 10, in each iteration output the count to the console and increase the count by 2. Third, after 5 iterations the count is 11, therefore the condition count less than 10 is false. The loop exit. So take one example practically. Open the Sublime text editor first, and here we change this loop by while loop. First we initialize the variable count to 1, value is 1, and next we use while statement, while then condition count less 10. So in the block we check the console value, console.log, and check the value of count, and next we check here we add iterator by 2. Semicolons. Save this code and see the result on the browser window. Refresh this. Output is 1 3 5 7 9. These are the odd numbers between 1 and 10. So next is do while loop. The JavaScript do while loop iterates the element for the infinite number of times like while loop, but code is executed at least once whether condition is true or false. The following statement illustrate the syntax of the do while loop. So first we use the do. In the block we use statement, then we use condition. While condition statement is always executed once before the condition is checked. To execute multiple statement, use a block statement to group those statements. If condition is true, the statement executes again. At the end of every execution, the condition is checked. When the condition is false, execution stops and control passes to the statement following do while. So note that with ES6 plus, the trailing semicolon after the while expression is optional. So you can use the following syntax: do, then statement, then while. Then you can also write here condition. So next is example of do while statement. The following example uses the do while statement to output 5 numbers from 0 to 4 to the console. So first we take the one variable count, initialized value is 0. So next we use the do. In the block we use console.log statement and check the value of count. After that we use count plus plus. This is the iterator, it means its value incremented. Next we use the while, then condition count less 5. So here is output 0 1 2 3 4 because we initialize the value from 0. So output starts from 0. So how it works: first declare and initialize the count variable to 0. Second, so show the count and increase its value by 1 in each iteration until its value is greater or equals to 2 equals to 5. So we can take one example practically. Open the Sublime text editor. So here we use do while loop. First we use let, then variable count equals to 0, then semicolon, then we use do, and in between that we check the value of console.log, then value of count. Next we increment this count variable, and then after the block we check the condition using while, and then condition is count less 5. Save this code and see the result on the browser window. Refresh this window and check. Output is 0 1 2 3 4. So these are the loops: for loop, while loop, and do while. Thank you. If you like this video, so please like, share, comment, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Keep watching and happy learning.